The relentless hum of distraction is slowly but surely paralyzing your God-given purpose. You feel it, don't you? That nagging sense of being perpetually overwhelmed, of chasing countless tasks, yet never truly accomplishing what truly matters, of your deepest aspirations remaining just out of reach. It's a spiritual and emotional fatigue, a feeling that your life's compass is spinning wildly, pulled by every fleeting notification and urgent demand. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking your potential, to finally stepping into the abundant life Christ promised, isn't about doing more, but about focusing on less? Today, we're going to uncover how reclaiming your focus can transform your spiritual journey, your relationships, and your entire existence, turning your scattered energy into a laser beam of divine purpose. David, a dedicated father of two, and a tireless volunteer at his local church, knew this feeling all too well. Every evening, he'd collapse onto his couch, a knot of frustration tightening in his stomach. He loved his family, he cherished his faith, but the days blurred into an endless cycle of reacting, not truly living. His prayer life felt fragmented, his quiet time elusive, and the big, meaningful projects he dreamed of starting for his community remained perpetually on the back burner. He was a man of good intentions, but his energy, like sand through his fingers, seemed to dissipate before he could mold it into anything lasting. He yearned for clarity, for a way to quiet the incessant noise and truly hear God's whisper amidst the clamor of life's demands. This isn't just about productivity, it's about spiritual alignment. This pervasive lack of focus isn't just an inconvenience, it's a spiritual battleground. How can you truly commune with the divine when your mind is a chaotic marketplace, bustling with fleeting thoughts, social media feeds, and the endless scroll of information? We've become conditioned to constant stimulation, mistaking busyness for progress and reactivity for responsiveness. This relentless external noise, from device pings to news streams, is amplified by an internal clutter of negative thoughts, self-doubt, and insidious whispers of not enough. We're adrift in an ocean of possibilities, yet paralyzed by the sheer volume, unable to chart a clear course. The truth is, focus isn't just about what you choose to see. It's profoundly about what you ruthlessly choose to ignore. It's about building a spiritual filter that sifts out the trivial from the truly transformative. Imagine your life as a magnificent garden, tended by God's grace. Every distraction is a weed, choking the vibrant growth of your purpose. If you don't deliberately pull them, they will consume the very nutrients meant for your deepest aspirations. The first step toward reclaiming your life isn't a grand gesture, but a quiet, firm decision to take deliberate control of your time, your energy, and your sacred mental space. It's about choosing to align with your true, God-given priorities, rather than letting the world dictate your path. So, I invite you, right now, to share in the comments below. What is one distraction you know you need to pull from your spiritual garden today? Let's commit to this journey together because your insights and experiences are a blessing to this community. One of the most insidious obstacles to a focused life, and by extension, a vibrant spiritual life, is the sheer volume of external noise. We live in a world designed for constant interruption, where every device vies for our attention and every notification promises something urgent. This isn't just about the time wasted. It's about the erosion of our capacity for deep thought, for sustained contemplation, for truly hearing the still, small voice of God. How can we discern divine guidance when our minds are constantly flitting from one digital demand to the next? The principle for overcoming this is simple, yet profoundly challenging. Ruthless removal. It means creating sacred spaces, both physically and digitally, free from the tyranny of the urgent. It's about recognizing that what you allow into your environment directly impacts what you allow into your soul. Sarah, a gifted artist who used to spend hours scrolling through social media, felt her creativity dwindling and her spiritual life stagnating. She'd wake up with good intentions, but within minutes her phone would pull her into an endless vortex of comparison and distraction. One day she realized her studio, once a sanctuary, had become chaotic. She decided to go on a digital and physical fast. She turned off all non-essential notifications, deleted social media apps from her phone, and spent an entire weekend decluttering her studio and her home. It was uncomfortable at first, like detoxing from a powerful stimulant. But as the external clutter diminished, something remarkable happened. The internal noise began to quiet. She started spending her mornings in prayer and meditation, not because she felt she should, but because the space for it had finally opened up. Her art flowed more freely, imbued with a newfound depth and purpose. She discovered that true focus wasn't about willpower alone, but about protecting the sacred boundaries of her attention, understanding that her environment was a reflection of her inner state. Beyond the external clamor, a more insidious obstacle lurks within, the internal distractions of our own minds. This includes the endless loop of negative thoughts, the clever excuses we craft to avoid difficult but necessary work, and that pervasive, modern anxiety known as FOMO, the fear of missing out. These internal voices, often louder than any external notification, can hijack our attention and derail our spiritual progress just as effectively. We tell ourselves we're too busy, not smart enough, or that we'll start tomorrow, all while our deepest desires and divine callings remain unaddressed. And here's a surprising revelation that might shift your entire perspective. True focus isn't just about what you do with your time. It's profoundly about who you are in your thoughts and what you trust God to handle. The freedom we seek isn't found in engaging with every thought or opportunity, but in the liberating act of choosing what to ignore. We often believe we must respond to every stimulus, every worry, every fleeting urge. But the path to true peace, to genuine spiritual depth, lies in discerning which thoughts align with God's truth and purpose for us, and which are mere noise designed to steal our peace. This calls for cultivating profound mental discipline, a spiritual muscle that must be consistently exercised. It means actively choosing to align your thoughts with what is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy, as Philippians 4-8 encourages us. When the internal chatter begins, we don't just passively listen, we intentionally redirect our gaze, asking, is this thought serving my purpose, or is it merely a distraction from the divine path I'm called to walk? This isn't about ignoring reality, but about refusing to let destructive thoughts dictate your focus or define your spiritual identity. It's about building an internal fortress against mental chaos. The true spiritual turning point in our journey to focus isn't just about removing distractions. It's about clearly defining what we are focusing on. This is where the profound spiritual work begins. Identifying your core values, understanding your God-given purpose, and setting goals not dictated by external expectations but by divine inspiration. Without this clarity, you're merely reacting to life, rather than intentionally creating a life aligned with God's will for you. Imagine trying to navigate a vast ocean without a compass or a destination. You might sail endlessly, expending immense energy, but never truly arriving anywhere meaningful. This spiritual clarity acts as your inner compass, a powerful filter for every decision, every commitment, every yes and every no. The ancient wisdom of Proverbs 4:25-27 speaks directly to this. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Make level paths for your feet, and take only ways that are firm. Do not swerve to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. This isn't just a metaphor for physical movement. It's a profound spiritual directive for unwavering focus. It's about fixing your gaze not just on earthly goals, but on the eternal, on the character of Christ, and on the path He has laid out for you. When David, our anchor story character, started to internalize this, he began to ask himself a simple but revolutionary question before committing to anything. Does this align with my core values, my family's needs, and God's calling for my life? This wasn't about selfishly saying no to everything, but about discerning what truly deserved his most precious resources. This deep spiritual discernment led to incredible inner transformation. The frantic need to please everyone, the constant feeling of being pulled in 1,000 directions, began to dissipate, replaced by quiet confidence and an unshakable sense of purpose. He was no longer just busy. He was purposeful, walking a path that felt firm and true. From this place of clarity, a new perspective emerges. Focus isn't just a skill, it's a spiritual superpower. And time isn't just a commodity to be managed. It is, quite literally, your life, the very canvas upon which God's masterpiece is painted, through you. When you truly grasp this, the urgency to be intentional with every moment transforms from a burden into a profound privilege. It means recognizing that every choice to engage with a distraction is a choice to disengage from your divine purpose. Consider Emily, a young woman who felt an overwhelming calling to serve her community through a difficult ministry, but found herself paralyzed by the sheer scope of the need and her own feelings of inadequacy. She was constantly researching, planning, networking, yet felt no real progress. Her days were a blur of activity, but her impact felt minimal. After hearing a sermon on intentionality, she decided to apply the principles of ruthless focus. She blocked out specific, uninterrupted hours each day for deep work on her ministry, treating them as sacred appointments with God. She started her mornings with prayer and stillness, intentionally setting her mind on her purpose before the world could intrude. She limited her news intake and curated her social circle to include only those who truly uplifted and inspired her. The transformation was astonishing. Within months, she wasn't just planning, she was doing. Her ministry, once a chaotic dream, began to flourish, impacting hundreds of lives. She discovered that true effectiveness wasn't about working more hours, but about channeling her energy with laser-like precision toward what truly mattered. This isn't just about grand projects. It's about the daily discipline, establishing supportive morning routines that anchor your day in God's presence, dedicating specific blocks of time to spiritual growth and purposeful work, and making personal development a non-negotiable commitment. Each small, consistent action builds momentum, creating an unstoppable force for good. So what does this focused life look like in practical, everyday terms? It begins with actively managing your environment, understanding its profound impact on your concentration and spiritual well-being. This means creating physical spaces that foster peace and concentration, whether it's a quiet corner for prayer, a tidy desk for purposeful work, or simply a home that feels like a sanctuary, not a storage unit for distractions. It also means being fiercely intentional about what you allow into your mind, limiting exposure to negative content, whether it's news that fuels anxiety or entertainment that promotes cynicism. Just as you guard your physical health, guard your mental and spiritual diet. Furthermore, this focus extends to your relationships. Surround yourself actively with motivating, supportive people who uplift your spirit and encourage your pursuit of God's purpose. And just as importantly, learn to set firm, loving boundaries with those who consistently drain your energy, distract your attention, or sow seeds of doubt. This isn't about isolation. It's about protecting your sacred space for growth and connection. The vision renewed by this intentionality is one where long-term goals consistently triumph over short-term gratification. It's about understanding that success, both spiritual and worldly, is not a sprint, but a marathon built daily, one deliberate, focused step at a time. It's the consistent, even small actions taken with purpose that accumulate into a life of profound impact. Are you willing to embrace this challenge? Are you ready to stop letting life happen to you and start intentionally shaping it, guided by your faith? The journey begins with a single step of self-awareness and a firm commitment to intentionality. It's an invitation to reclaim your peace, your purpose, and your God-given power to create a life that truly reflects His glory. This journey of cultivating focus is not a one-time event, but a continuous spiritual discipline, a lifelong commitment to aligning your heart, mind, and actions with God's unchanging truth. It's about consistently returning to your spiritual compass, recalibrating when distractions inevitably pull you off course, and remembering that every moment of intentionality is a step further into the abundant life Christ promised. Imagine a future where you wake up not to a feeling of dread or overwhelm, but to a quiet sense of purpose, knowing exactly where your energy needs to be directed. Picture a life where your spiritual practices are deeply rooted and nourishing, where your relationships are authentic and uplifting, and where your impact on the world flows effortlessly from a place of clarity and divine alignment. This isn't a utopian dream. It is the tangible outcome of living a focused, intentional life, anchored in faith. It's about truly understanding that your worth isn't tied to your busyness, but to your faithfulness in stewarding the precious gifts of time and attention that God has bestowed upon you. This is the superpower of focus. It empowers you to be present, to be purposeful, and to truly be who God created you to be, unburdened by the chaos of the world. So, as you step forward, I encourage you to carry this truth in your heart. Your focus is your freedom. It's your path to a life of profound impact, deep peace, and unwavering spiritual connection. If this message resonated with you, if it stirred something within your spirit, I invite you to share this video with someone who might also be grappling with distraction. Let's spread this message of intentional living and spiritual focus far and wide, building a community of believers who are not just busy, but truly purposeful. And remember, your journey matters, and I'm here walking alongside you. God bless you.